Okay, so I'm gonna commentate a role I had at a seminar recently in Bakersfield, over here in California, with a brown belt named Armando there, and I'm gonna go over some like Tarantula Guard stuff that I ended up doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it here. Boom, telling him my ankle hurts. Don't tap me, don't go too hard, and then I'm gonna go as hard as I can. Okay, so right here, first thing I always try to do is not go flat to my back. Okay, I like to keep my back like sitting up, and then try to establish some kind of grip on the collar. I think this is really important because once you put your back flat on the ground, you don't have any mobility from your elbow over here. So my elbow's posted on the ground over here, and this allows me to move closer to him, or to also retreat if I feel like he's getting too close. Or if he grabs my pants and collar and he starts to pass me, I can always stand up, like just a normal, like technical stand up here, moving my hips out and building up to my knees. So I'll generally go for this 100% of the time. If I'm playing guard on bottom, I try to establish this collar grip first, and then work to more control from there. Okay, so, oops, like that. Yeah. Okay, so he didn't break my collar grip, and I put my foot on the hip, and I start to swing my arm around to control his leg for De La Hiva, or just to stop his ability to like run left and right. That's the basic thing you want to do when you're controlling De La Hiva. That's the main idea, is that you limit their mobility. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about doing right here. Play. Okay. Yeah, okay, so right here, a little thing happened. Okay, so he comes in, boom. He steps over my leg. And whenever somebody steps over my leg, usually I'm going to either try to elevate them directly overhead using this hook under their hips, or I'm going to try to rock them far to the opposite side and get them to drop this knee to the ground. Okay, and that's what I did. The latter of those two, I rocked him to the right. I get him to base this knee right here, and I pull his De La Hiva leg up high onto my thigh right here. And you'll even notice that my right hip drops to the ground, and my left hip comes up. Okay, so this is a very common movement in De La Hiva, and it's a really good entry for single leg X and waiter because it makes it difficult for them to put this foot back on the ground, and so it always keeps his legs apart and keeps that space open where it's usually not available. So I'll go ahead and play that, and you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So he starts to drop his weight. You can see I'm already pulling his leg up with my De La Hiva control, and my leg here is kicking his hips over, and I'm gonna start pulling this up onto my leg. Okay, so let it play a little bit more. Boom, right there. Okay, so he drops that knee. I've got his leg off the ground. This is like a classic like waiter entry position right here. Really, the only thing you need to do from here is to get this grip right here. You need it to be underhooking. Okay, so you're gonna see me make a little grip change here with my other arm on the far side, just for a brief moment. I don't actually get it, but you can see it. I like to underhook between my legs to kind of hold his leg up in place so he doesn't drop it back down and find his foot like on the floor. And then it'll hold the door open for this arm to now let go and then get the underhook. So I'll play it, and you'll kind of see that play out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna move this down here because it's like kind of annoying when it's so far away. Okay, so boom, right here, you see my hands coming in right here, and I'm trying to underhook here so that I can let go here and then re-underhook without his leg falling. But I lose it for some reason. I'm not sure. I was just being sloppy, I guess. But he starts to drive his weight across to the side. I wasn't really managing his weight well. You really have to keep constant pressure with your leg in his hips to keep him on this side. Okay, so I think I might have lost some of the pressure with my legs here, and he was able to recenter. But that's a little like mini game there that happens a lot. I just wanted you guys to be aware of. Okay, so he starts floating my base, drops his feet back. I put in a shallow lasso on this side, meaning my lasso wasn't like going all the way through and like hooking behind his back right here. It's just almost like a spider guard, you know, like I'm putting it on his shoulder with the idea that it's distance management. Okay, anytime you get the bottom of your foot posted on the person, you're thinking about distance and control and keeping them really far away. Okay, and the shallow lasso is really good at that. And it's also the precursor for how I like to set up the Tarantula Guard. Okay, so you'll see me do that grip exchange that I like to do a little bit later. But I put in my shallow lasso here. I'm keeping it posted near his shoulder. I'm not feeling too in danger here. I only have one grip. And my rule of thumb for anybody playing guard is you should always try to have 2 grips. Okay, you shouldn't be left with just 1 grip. But because he's so far to this side, I don't feel really in danger because this is the side that's vulnerable. This is the side where my leg and my arm isn't controlling anything. So he's going to eventually have to come back around to this side, okay? But as long as he's running his body to this side, but my lasso feels really strong, I'm chilling. I'm big chilling over here. I'm not really sweating it or anything. Okay, so he's putting good pressure. He's walking to that side. Boom, boom, boom. Almost gets into a triangle, but he backs out. Put my shallow lasso back in, and I think this is where I hit the grip exchange. Okay, so the first thing I do, oh no, okay, so I play a little bit of the, I don't know if you guys ever played this before, but it's like a collar sleeve, but you use the excess material from their collar as like a lapel guard stirrup for your foot. So you can keep a lot of distance and push them really far away just with this right here. It's very hard for them to unstick this. And the reason this is useful is because normally, like, the number one thing they're going to do in collar sleeve is they're going to dominate this leg right here. Okay? Usually in collar sleeve, this leg, or rather this foot, is posted on his shoulder right there. And it kind of makes him, it leaves him with one arm. He's got one arm in, and this arm is like excluded from the party, you know? So if they're going to get out of the collar sleeve, they're going to try to stuff this leg between their legs. And this stirrup control allows you to extend them really far away and free this leg and replace it right here and exclude that arm again. So this is really, really strong. I don't think I played it very much, but I just want to talk about it a little bit because I kind of like, you know, use it for a second. But maybe another video will go over how that guard works. Is really, really strong. Okay, so play it. Boom. He's putting pressure with his forearm. Okay, so right here. Okay, so we're square again. Yep, we're square again. He stopped his blitz. A lot of times when you're retaining guard, you're kind of just waiting for them to stop their movement, defending all of their pass attempts while you're looking for control. So if you saw that sequence before when he was trying to pass me, my right hand is kind of looking for control the whole time. I went for his sleeve at one point. I went for this collar. I went for this collar. I'm just kind of trying to tie him up and stop movement so that I can get the position that I truly want. It's like step 1, you stop their movement, and then step 2, you get the position that you want. Ideally, I should have pulled directly into the position I wanted and just foregone this entire little battle because I kind of gave Armando a chance to pass here by not getting control immediately. So if you're a guard player, you don't actually want to be playing this little mini game of like he's trying to pass you while you're trying to get control. Okay, so now he's starting to slow down a little bit and I'm able to do my grip change. I'm actually doing my Tarantula Guard setup right now. Okay, so my leg is inside my utility leg. I call it the utility leg because it does a lot of stuff for you. It's inside between his legs, and that's really important for what I'm going to explain later. But I'm doubling up on the lasso grip right here. So I have a normal lasso grip with my left arm over here on this side. You can't really see it. But when I'm ready to go to Tarantula, I grip with both hands. So my right arm also grips the other side of the sleeve here. So I'm holding onto the sleeve with both of my hands. And I'm going to keep the sleeve with my right arm. My left arm's going to let go and reach around the back of my lasso and re-grab the sleeve. And what that's going to do is make this shallow lasso into a spider guard without me having to like switch my leg back and forth. You know what I'm talking about? Where like you have the lasso and you just kind of flip your leg into spider, but you don't change your grip. That can be really hard because the knee and the elbow are often connected, and that's the space you need to get inside to like switch your leg. So this is kind of like a way that I devised to not have to move my leg, but still get the grips that I wanted. Okay, so you can't really see it, but I'm going to let it play anyway. Maybe you can see See, I have two hands. You can kind of peek between the legs right there. And then I make the grip. And as soon as I let go with my right hand, that means I've got the grip I need right here. Okay, so now here's an important part right here. I'm reaching for his collar, but he's kind of posturing away from me, okay? And the reason this leg in between is so important is because it allows me to anchor against his hips. See, my instep here is kind of like making a little like, what is that called? Like dorsiflexion. Yeah, my instep is like making a chair for his butt. That connection right here allows me to use my core and reach really, really high. And I think you'll kind of see it when I play it a little bit. See, he runs away. See how my leg straightens? I'm hooking right here, and it's allowing me to do a crunch, and I can reach really far and like get his collar. If you don't have this, like say your leg's on the outside over here, like past his hip, you're gonna swing really wide and you're gonna lose control. So if you do this grip change where you're reaching like doubling up on the lasso and reaching around, you have to put your leg in between first. Okay, that's super important. But you're gonna see Armando starts to posture away, and I'm able to reach really high and crunch and get that collar grip, and now I have his posture controlled, and now I have the tarantula. Okay, so this is probably the most important thing you'll ever need to learn for playing a spider guard, or especially tarantula guard, is you need to attack their balance constantly, okay? Because if they're able to set their balance, they're going to start breaking the position. Okay, so watch how I kind of manage Armando's balance. I'm holding my grips really tight, but that's not the reason I'm able to keep the position so successfully. Every time he starts to set his base, I rock him one way and I rock him the other. So right now he's dropping his knee into a knee cut. There's a lot of forward pressure coming down. So I'm going to bring him a little bit more forward with this foot on the bicep. Okay, so I'll let it play. See, I'm bringing him forward. And then when I feel him resist that forward momentum, I rock him back. You see, he didn't get swept, but he didn't set his base. He didn't set his base, meaning he didn't set his base, and he's not able to now think about the next thing to break the position. He's still thinking about his balance. He's still having to maintain his balance. And that's the area you want to keep them in constantly. You want them to constantly have to think about their balance and not think about breaking the position. Okay, so another thing I do in the tarantula, this is kind of like the system I like to play, is if they're standing really tall, I always bring them overhead. Okay, I'm always trying to bring them overhead to threaten improving position and to threaten like sweeping and just threaten their balance in general. And you're gonna see, I'm gonna let it play out, but Armando's gonna keep standing up, and I'm gonna constantly bring him over my body and make him feel like he needs to drop his base, kind of like the position he's in right now. So check this out. So he stands, watch me stomp my foot, and I bring him overhead. Boom. He stands up again, immediately bring him overhead. You don't want him to have a full second or two to like, okay, let me break this collar. He stands up again. I'm still putting that pressure. I rock back, and now he's finally starting to drop his base. I think he might stand up one more time, and then I bring him over once more. Yeah, I think he's going to stand up again, bring him over again, and now he's like, okay, fuck that. I'm going to stay down on my knees. And this is what you want when you're playing Tarantula Guard. You want their base low, so they can have one knee up, no problem, and you want your shoulders off the mat. Okay, see how my shoulders are coming up off of the ground. I'm not laying flat on my back anymore. This is going to make it so that I can scoot under him and drop my back to the mat and use that as my like propellant or like thing to help bring him over me. It's kind of like when you play butterfly guard, and if you try to play butterfly guard flat on your back, your sweeps are really weak because you only use your legs. But as soon as you sit up and like fall into a butterfly sweep, it's very, very strong because the weight of your body is falling to the ground is helping elevate the person. And that's kind of what it is in tarantula. So this is ideal for me. He's taking a knee, and I'm starting to sit up. And now because his head and his arms and his neck and everything are so close to the ground and so close to my hips, he's in much more danger in this position. Okay, so we're kind of funneling him into a better position here. Okay, so he's dropping down. I'm reestablishing my collar. He stands up again. I might rock him one more time, I think. Yeah, I'm rocking. Boom, right there. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. Right here, his hand posting on the ground. This is the money right here. If you're playing tarantula and you create that elevation in any scenario and they post their arm on the ground, it's match over. Okay, that's it. All right, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so as soon as this hand posts, he's got a lot of weight on his hand first off. So a percentage of his body weight is loaded in his hand. Therefore, his hips are a little bit lighter down there, like back on this side where my instep is elevating his hips. So what I'm going to do now that his hand is posted is I'm going to elevate his hips, okay? And then I'm going to take my leg and I'm going to take it from between his legs and I'm going to kind of kick flip him and bring my foot out to this side, okay? Or my leg out to this side, all right? So you're going to see that happen right now. I kick him up. See, now his hips are elevated. My leg is starting to come out. There it is, right there. See? So it came out to this side right here. And you can already see how this is starting to be a lot of trouble. My elbow is now closing down. See, I'm clamping on his arm. My thigh is closing down. I'm clamping on his arm. I have a grip on his posture with the hand in the collar. And then the final thing to secure this triangle armbar is my foot in the bicep sliding off and then clamping over his shoulders right here to break his posture. And then once that happens, like, they're in there. They're not going anywhere, okay? So you're going to see the foot in the spider start to come off. Boom, right there. And I really like this finishing position because it's got so much security all the way up this chain. Like, I've got his arm pinched. I'm closing my elbow. I'm closing my thigh. I've got the collar, and I'm breaking his posture right here. It's really hard for people to get out. And then the final thing, like, you'll see a lot of big guys do this. They try to turn that corner really hard with this arm. You know, they try to, like, stack you. So this arm will come across, and it'll, if your triangle isn't locked, like mine isn't yet here, you can lose this position. But I just had spider guard, so I still have his sleeve. So I can keep this hand away while I start to secure this right here. So really, there's not a good option to get out of this position, and this is why this is my favorite move in jiu-jitsu. I feel so good when I hit this, you know. Boom, start to lock it, get the armbar, okay. I think I decided to switch to the armbar because his head was starting to come out. But the good thing about this is his arm is so trapped that you really have either option right here. He did a good job of turning the corner. But, yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown. Just to summarize real quick, I would say when you're playing Tarantula, if they're standing up, try to bring them overhead. Like, try to use your utility leg between their legs and constantly bring them overhead. I'm, like, using myself to illustrate. And that's going to lower their base. They're going to feel very threatened from there, and that's when you're going to get a lot of triangles and arm bars and stuff like that because their arms and legs are closer, and you do have so much posture control using the collar and Tarantula Guard, okay? That's it. I hope you guys like that. If you guys want to learn more details about any of these techniques, I have a course out on BJJ Fanatics. If you just look up Dom Bell or Tarantula Guard on BJJ Fanatics, or I'm sure I'm probably going to drop a link somewhere wherever I end up posting this video. But check that out. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's it. Peace.